Hey, welcome back. We're going to read David Walliams' The Ice Monster. We're going to continue the story. I'm sorry I haven't been online for a few days, but I've had a virus, so my voice is still a little bit croaky. Chapter 20, Dark Fire. Not the saber-toothed tiger, exclaimed Dotty. No, laughed Elsie, that was just a skeleton. No, I suppose there's a little help for that now. You don't mean the man-mouth, do you? The man-mouth, yes. That's what I said, protested the lady. Man-mouth. You want to bring the man-mouth upstairs back to life? Yes. Ah, so we have a new arrival, do we? Asked the professor. I wondered what all that noise was about. Bringing it back to life is madness, exclaimed Dotty. Good madness or bad madness? Asked Elsie. Is there a good kind? Yes, listen. That creature has been preserved for 10,000 years, and it looks like it snuffed it yesterday, right? Dotty nodded her head. So surely, with the professor's lightning catching the thingamajiggy, we could give it a ginormous shock and restart its heart. Elsie and Dotty looked at the professor. He was a science expert after all, even though he had very nearly burned the Natural History Museum down to the ground. His eyes lit up with a dark fire. He started to stared straight ahead as the plan began to take shape in his mind. This is a genius idea of mine, he whispered. Elsie looked mightily confused. Wasn't it her idea? I could use my lightning technology to create life. The dream of all scientists since the dawn of time was to be God. I think it's gone to his head a bit, murmured Dotty. I will go down in history as the greatest scientist of my age. No, of all time. Isaac Newton, an apple fell on your head, and you came up with the idea of gravity. Who cares, Nicholas Copernicus? You discovered that the Earth revolves around the sun rather than the other way around. Big deal. Charles Darwin, so you completely changed the way we think about life on Earth with your theory of evolution. Duh. They'll rip up your books and burn your paintings and tear down your statues and put ones up of me. Me. And yes, it will be all about me. There was an uncomfortable silence for a moment. Have you finished? Asked Elsie. The professor paused for a moment. And yes, you two will be my assistants. You must do everything I say and be prepared to lay down your lives in the name of science, if need be. Now come on, there's no time to lose. Instantly, the old man started busying himself about his laboratory, handing pieces of scientific equipment to Elsie, who followed him around like an eager puppy, and Dotty, who looked on in disbelief. Have you two completely lost your minds? She asked. The mind is an abstract concept, replied the professor. What he just said, agreed the girl, not having understood a word of it. If you do manage to catch a bolt of lightning and somehow bring this mammoth, corrected Elsie. Man-moth, that is what I said, back to life, what are you going to do with it? Oh, that was a good question, and it stopped both of them in their tracks. Pondered the girl. Or maybe the man-moth can come and live with you. Dotty went Dotty. With me? I rent a tiny attic room in a boarding house. There's no cats or dogs rule. What about no mammoth rule? Asked Elsie. No? Well then, there ain't no dinosaurs rule either. And I ain't sure the landlady thought she didn't need any rules about animals that had been extinct for millions of years. Well, if it can't live with you, maybe it can come down here and live with me, said Elsie. You don't have a home. So maybe we could set it free. Elsie noticed the professor smiling to himself. He was hiding something, but what? We can work on the finer details in good time, he said. First, we have to bring it back to life. Now, where did I put the copper wire? Dotty grabbed whatever bit of scientific equipment Elsie was holding and put it down on the counter. "Come on, Elsie, this is going to end up in tears," said the lady, and with that, Dotty grabbed the girl's hand and dragged her over to the secret door. "Please, Dotty, I beg you," cried the professor. "I need your help too." "No, please, no means no." And just the other side of the door, Boots' steps could be once again heard. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. The pair felt silent. "Shh," hushed Elsie. "It's Clout." "He doesn't know I'm here," hissed the professor. "Nobody does. If you've let him here, then—" "Shh," shushed the girl again. All three kept dead still as the boot steps came to halt outside the secret door. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. There, following the sound of light tapping. Tap, 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 tap. Dotty held her chest. Her heart was racing. Tap, 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 tap. Elsie had to hide herself countless times before. The trick was not to breathe. The girl stretched out her hand to silence the old lady. Dotty clasped her hands together and closed her eyes in prayer. Tap, 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 tap. Had Clout worked out there was someone hiding behind the secret door? Not yet. There was the sound of footsteps again as Clout moved off. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. "If I know Mr. Clout, he'll be back again," whispered the professor. "We'll have to move at lightning speed if we want to bring the monster back to life." "Oh, what could possibly go wrong?" muttered Darcy. In his secret laboratory, the professor expounded his madcap plan. "We need to make a giant hot air balloon from silk handkerchiefs and fly it high over the museum into a lightning storm. Elsie, you will need to steal the silk handkerchiefs. Have you ever stolen anything before?" "Once or twice," lied the girl. "How many do you need?" No more than 1,000. 1,000? Give or take. Where am I going to get 1,000 silk handkerchiefs from?" 1,000 well-to-do ladies and gentlemen, of course. "We'll also need a round piece of metal," continued the professor, "like a soldier's tin helmet." And suddenly Dotty jumped up and down, looking as if she desperately needed to do a wee. But in actual fact, she was just overexcited. Oh, she cried, waving her hand in the air. "Yes?" asked the professor. "I know where to get a tin helmet. My boyfriend Titch will have one from these war days." "Perfect. We'll need to attach it to the top of the balloon, and let me show you how." The professor reached into the pocket of his dirty laboratory coat. "Now where on earth is my chalk?" Elsie looked a little sheepish. "Oh, it must have slipped out of your pocket and into my hand," she lied. "Oh, very good, child, very good." The professor was mightily impressed. "Those fingers will come in handy when you are stealing the handkerchiefs." The old man held out his hand and she placed the stolen chalk into it, and then he began drawing his invention on the wall of the laboratory, giving commentary as he drew. "So here is a balloon with the tin helmet at the very top. The balloon will have a wicker basket attached by ropes at the bottom here. In the middle of the basket, we will place a metal drum. Inside that drum, wood will be burned. The hot air will cause the balloon to inflate and take to the skies." "Ooh, this is getting very involved," muttered Dotty. "Silence when the great professor speaks," he snapped, "and then the pilot of the balloon will fly up into the heart of the storm, and when the lightning strikes here," and he bashed his chalk against the drawing of the metal helmet, "the lightning bolt will travel along the length of copper wire all the way down through the museum itself. The end of the wire we will have embedded right into—" But before he could finish his sentence, Elsie did it for him. "The mammoth's heart!" "Exactly," exclaimed the professor. "You are a fast learner, young lady." Dotty put her hand in the air. "Yes?" he asked grandly. "Can I say something?" "No." The lady crossed her arms in a sulk. "So you, Elsie, will steal the 1,000 silk handkerchiefs, and you, Dotty, will sew them together to make the balloon. And the tin helmet this Titch character will provide The basket, the metal drum, and the firewood. Elsie can scavenge in the streets. Copper wire I have from my last experiment. It couldn't be simpler. And there's the scientific drawing. Dotty and Elsie stood there open-mouthed in shock. Simple was not a word that sprang to mind. So, who will be going up in the balloon? Asked Elsie. The professor grinned a wicked grin. Oh, not you, child, no. I need a little person to squeeze through the nooks and crannies of the museum and spread all that copper wire all the way down from the roof to the main hall. Are you going up in the balloon then, Professor? Asked the girl. Ha ha ha, no, my child. My infirmity would prevent me from undertaking such a deadly mission. So who is? The professor's eyes fixed on Dotty. Elsie followed his gaze. Why is everyone looking at me? Dotty asked. Because you, cleaning woman, have got the honour of taking the most dangerous, perhaps deadliest part of the mission, flying in a hot air balloon straight into a lightning storm. Me, exclaimed Dotty. Yes, you, replied the professor, but I'm scared of heights. I even feel wobbly standing on a chair to dust the ceiling. Listen to me, woman, commanded the professor. What better honour could there be in life than to die in the name of science? Die? Well, that would be the worst-case scenario. But I'm too young to die. The professor peered over his half-moon spectacles to examine the lady. Well, I beg to differ. How dare you? I will go up in the balloon, offered Elsie. No, began the man. How on earth would we get this great fat lump down the chimney? Charming, exclaimed Dotty. Now I'm old and I am fat. Don't fret, woman. There is little chance of you falling out and plunging to your death, as I can strap you into the basket. That's reassuring, replied the lady. Obviously, the real danger is being hit by lightning. What? Don't worry. It's very quick and painless death. You'll be incinerated in a millisecond. You would hardly know what hit you. That's the beauty of the scheme. You're nuts. Thanks, replied the professor. What about clout? Asked Elsie. Yes, mused the man. The security guard can be very troublesome. We need to know somehow to make sure he is somewhat other engaged. Oh, I don't think he's either engaged nor married, sir. It's a figure of speech, exclaimed the professor. Perhaps we could lock him in the cleaning cupboard, suggested the girl. That would be perfect, he replied. Well, how are we going to get out of here without being seen? Asked Elsie. The whole museum is swarming with police and guards right now. Or you can climb out of the coal chute just here. The man wheeled himself over to the wall and revealed a small opening hidden by a box. Dotty examined the hole. Well, what about me? You could try and squeeze yourself up the chute, and I could poke you through by prodding your ample bottom with the broomstick. Oh, that's very kind of you, replied Dotty sarcastically. But they ain't looking for me, just the girl. Think I might just wait a while, and then when the coast is clear, go back upstairs through the door. Yes, but please don't wait too long, replied the professor. I don't want you cluttering up the place. Well, excuse me. Elsie? Yes, Professor? I want you back here this time tomorrow night with 1,000 silk handkerchiefs. Tomorrow night? Yes, child. No later than 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And look, here, the air pressure is getting lower. The man pointed to the barometer on the wall. We need to be ready for a lightning storm by the end of the week. I'll do my best, Professor, said the girl, as she shimmied up the chute. The professor stared at Dotty for a while. Are you still here? Meanwhile, Elsie ran away from the museum as fast as she could. Her mind raced along with her legs. How on earth was she going to steal 1,000 handkerchiefs in just 24 hours? Elsie knew there was no way she could do this all on her own, so she decided to get some help. Expert help. There was a legendary group of tearaways who were the best pickpockets in the whole of London. If only she could find them. They were named the Sticky Fingers Gang. They were so called because their fingers could worm their way into the coat pockets of very rich ladies and gentlemen in London and then worm their way out with things stuck to them. Sometimes it would be nothing more than half a sucked sweet, a snotty rag, or worst of all, a set of false teeth. And that was the beginning of chapter 23. I am going to leave it there because our recording time has finished. And later today, I'm going to reread that bit and restart and go further. Have a good day. I hope you've enjoyed the story of Ice Monster.